wasn't him. It was you, Charlie. You and Johnny. Like the night the two of yous come in the dressing room and says, "Kid, this ain't your night. We're going for the price on Wilson. It ain't your night." I'd have taken Wilson apart that night. I was ready, remember? Those early rounds, throwing them combinations. So what happens? This bum, Wilson, he gets the title shot outdoors in the ballpark. And what do I get, Charlie, huh? What do I get? A couple of bucks and a one-way ticket to Govan. Palookaville. It was you, Charlie. It was you. You was my brother. You should have looked out for me a little bit. Just a little bit, instead of making me take them dives for the short-end money. See, you don't understand. You don't understand. I could have been a contender. I could have had class and been somebody. Real class. Instead of a bum. A cheap, lousy fucking bum. Let's face it, which is what I am. It was you, Charlie. All along, it was you. And here I am. I finally fucking get another chance to introduce the greatest mind of all times. What a fucking honor, Charlie. What a fucking... You've done it again, Charlie. You fucking made me blow it. You fuck. I could have had class tonight. The fucking blew it. You fuck. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the greatest mind of all fucking time to you, you cheap, lousy, fucking mentally handicapped goons. You fucking whores and assholes. You fucking sluts and dickheads. You malignant sociopaths and fucking imbecilic garbage. You're the low-life fucking bums. Why don't I waste my time here? Charlie, I'm gonna fucking rape your wife. The thing is, fuck. Charlie, I'm gonna fucking... Without further... Shut the fuck up, everybody. I'm trying to introduce the great... Shut the... I'm gonna fuck you, lousy... You cheap, lousy fuck... I'm gonna fuck... Shut the... I'm gonna... You fucking... Fuck you... I'm gonna... Ladies and gentlemen, I ain't gonna take a dive tonight. Let me do it again. It doesn't matter, they're just fucking bums, Charlie. They're just fucking assholes. You have the unique privilege now of witnessing the man I'm about to introduce, the real man who's a moral agent in the universe and the greatest mind of all fucking time. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado... Oh, fuck, Charlie! You fuck! Ladies and gentlemen, without further fucking ado, I could have had the class. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Erol. Stella!
Politics. A quick impression of a Tory politician. Right? Every tooth a fucking jolly hockey stick. Yeah? It's also fucking jolly, isn't it? Going to Eton or Oxford. They make themselves seem like such wonderful people, don't they? To the great unwashed, the hard of thinking. But are they? Are they great people? Or are they just fucking maniacs? Of course they're fucking maniacs, aren't they? Aren't they just the bastards? The bastards. They're maniacs. They're fucking maniacs. When the camera's on, they're like, and they pretend that they want to do good by society. Pretend that they're going to do right by us all. But as soon as the camera's off, they're cancelling the funding to baby heart monitors and cutting the cold payment to your grandmother, making sure that your area loses those jobs, cutting the funding, vital funding to your local councils, who are on the take anyway. Unscrupulous scum. So when the cameras are on, this is your average Tory.
Oh, we love this country, it's fucking brilliant. We're doing the best that we can with the little man, whatever we have.
And then, as soon as the camera's off, right, aye, fuck all the grannies in the north. Just fuck them. Then when the cameras are back on again,
Oh, jolly happy shakes.
and then when the cameras are off again, yes, those baby heart monitors, cancel the whole shipment. I would like a whole cargo of wine instead. I mean, that is genuinely what the case is. It's not like there isn't enough money to go around. You just print more. We're daft enough to fucking work with that system. You know, the pound is worthless anyway. It doesn't exist. If I came round to your house, right, in the 1970s with a big fuck off 5-pence pieces with a man's head on them, and gave you those, right, and dumped a whole load of them in your front yard. Say I dumped about 100,000 of them in your front garden, you'd have come out going, "Way, a fucking beauty!" You know. Because that would have been 500,000 pence. I would have bought a lot of Smarties. But sadly, if I was to come round and drop that exact same bundle of coins in your front garden today, you'd phone the fucking police. They just came round with a big fucking lorry and dumped about 500,000 coins in my front garden. Thought you said it was 100,000. I don't think you cunt. Anyway, so, because it's worthless, we're now pretending that that 5-pence isn't 5-pence anymore. We've moved on. Think about that. That highlights what money is. You know, one year it would be a great gift. Next year it would just be fucking vandalism or hooliganism or willful littering. So we give money its authority due to our pig ignorance. Well, your pig ignorance. There's no ignorance in this mind. Oh, what was that? So, the point is this. Let's all stop pretending that money exists, or let's just print more of it. In fact, I bet you most of you don't know where money actually comes from. It comes from the bank. If you go in and ask for a loan, they don't go and get the money out of the kitty. You might imagine they would take it from some of the other accounts. In fact, they print it out. They print out new money. The £10,000 did not exist, and still doesn't exist, but did not exist before you asked for it. So they print out £10,000 and they mark themselves down as now having negative £10,000 in the ledger. You then pay that back, and there's 10,000 new pounds in your economy that didn't exist before. Think it through. It's all bullshit. All of it. It's all bullshit. And if you fall for it, which you do repeatedly, then you get what you fucking deserve. People are so fucking stupid I could weep. Communism. That's the way forward. Isn't it? Of course it is. Where no one can lie to anybody anymore. You just have to accept who and what you are and what you've got, and share equally the fruit of our labour, where everyone has to contribute and work equally hard or well. We still all have our niches. We still want, you know, like pop music and restaurants, I presume. So, but Oh, you can't have communism, big man. Folk would run into the fucking supermarkets and just start tanning all the whiskey. There's only so much you can fill your fucking cupboard up with. Isn't there? Say the very first week, all the jakies from North Lanarkshire run in and fill their cupboard with whiskey. Right? There's only so much room in your fucking cupboard. So, he's stuck with that whiskey. He thinks to himself, I can't get my beans in there. He'd soon learn his lesson. The next week, that cunt wouldn't be back to the supermarket. He'd probably drink himself to death. That's the problem. Do you know what? See anyone that fucking deranged, I want them to drink themselves to death. I want them to die with a giant fucking blue grin on their face, and that's an end to the cunt. You know? No loss to the world, that, is it? A fucking raging jakey fuckwit. First thing I'll do in communism is be released. When you're released through communism, straight down that market, fucking emptying the shelves down my neck. Fannies. So, there's only so much you can fucking hoard. You'd soon acclimatise, it'd soon just become the norm. Storming, forming and norming. El Gunko. All I'm pointing out to you is that politics is not democracy. You don't have democracy. This is a fascist state. I've established that in previous commentary. And I can prove this is not a democracy. Big man dunny, dunny, big man dunny, dunny, big man dunny. I will. It's not a democracy. Have you heard of sortition? Sortition means, well, in fact, sortition was essentially the first core component of democracy, and it was originally invented by the Greeks. Democritus. Sortition means, at the end of each year, or term, you put everybody's name in a big tombola, get a fucking spin, and then every single person in the whole fucking land who's eligible, any one of those people's names could be pulled out of the tombola. Can't stand that name. It's like a Hun word, isn't it? No more put our names in a tombola. But anyway, put you in a fucking tombola, you wee dick. And your entire family, you fucking spin. Oh, it's knocked sense into your heads. Not a fucking Hun inbred thick skulls together. You can't stand Huns, big man. Oh, walking shite. Hinties. So, of course there. The point is, of course, that basically sortition means that your granny or your fucking uncle or your nephew could end up the head of the NHS. It's a fact. So there can't be any corruption, there can't be any ties, you know. Somebody leaves office, another person comes in with a brand new set of thoughts. Of course, if you turn it to be a wanker, we can just throw them into the sea. No. Fuck them off some catapult using their own knicker elastic. Whee! You know, I don't really want to be the head of the NHS. Alright, we'll pass it on to the next one then. If it came to me, if I was the head of the NHS, oh, I'd fucking sort that out in a heartbeat. Walking about like the fucking Gestapo. Any nurses caught talking shite when they should be fucking working. Or basically, treating elderly patients who've worked their entire life really fucking hard, not like a nurse does, who occasionally plumps up your pillows like somebody who works in a fucking hotel. Yeah. Nurses are lazy, good-for-nothing fucking idiots. I've yet to meet a nurse with a high IQ. I better not get sick for ages and ages. I did meet a nice nurse once. She slightly fancied me, and then she didn't like me after that because I wasn't interested in her. Because she had a really low EQ. She reminded me of a policewoman once. This policewoman took a shine to me. I was sparkling like a new pen after that Bobby were finished. The thing is that she, I could have done that with more enthusiasm. I just couldn't be arsed. You're not really worth it. What's that? I want my fucking money back, you cunt. You get your money back. I thought you were a communist. Give our money back. No, I'm giving it to emancipate the poor, and I'll come to them in a flash. So anyway, this Bobby, she was like she really believed in human nature. And I hadn't a clue that she fancied me till after she left. I'm always that way. Females don't actually tell you they fancy you. They'll be giving up too much power for their fucking narcissistic head spell. I want men to always be on the back foot. Aye, just so I can get more fucking torque into my swing. Off with the testicles of anyone who punches women in the face. More than once. So, unless they really deserved it. You know? Unless like they're booting you in the balls. Unless it goes to kicking the balls, just fucking take it out. She goes to claw your eyes out. Get to fuck. Shove a pie in her face. Pie face her. I'm glad I don't have any females at all in my life. Period. Oh, it's so fucking brilliant. Oh, it's so refreshing. Every day I wake up. Good day. Not a sound. No sound of moaning, whining, nagging, or heartlessness. Narcissism. Nauseating fucking narcissism. Oh, fuck me. Happiness is a warm gun. I'd rather be an happy wanker than an unhappy fucker. So anyway, this policewoman, this shiny Bobby, this new pin, she's had her nose broken, fucking parts of her body smashed up and all that by all the fucking dickheads of the day. Dickhead of the day! And she still believed in humanity. I was surprised at this. Questioned her about it. What else did you do, big man? I questioned her about it. And I was quite convinced by the end of the I was quite convinced by the end of the fucking meeting she was truly a good person. I just couldn't fancy her. Just couldn't. No offence to the lassie, just couldn't. She had a really low level of intelligence. She was a bit of a hun. And it was not a day where being a hun. You see, if she'd been a bit more intelligent and a hun, I'd have happily fucking dated her. No problem at all. I dated a wee hun before, just once. She wasn't like a true blue, you know. Fucking IQ of a goldfish. Goldfish are orange! And but she was infantile. Oh, and she whined and moaned. God almighty. It was her father that kind of turned me on to the fact that she was whining and moaning all the time. Because his wife whined and moaned. And I didn't realise this. And she whined and fucking moaned. What? I'm not a fucking babysitter. I want a wife, a woman. I belong, I deserve a woman in my life for once. Just one. Anyway, this guy was in the kitchen and he said, he shouted back at her when she was whining and moaning, shouted at his wife and said, "For God's sake, hen, I'm in here with a fucking broom up my arse and you want me fucking, you know, and I'm doing the dishes and I'm fucking doing the washing and I'm fucking, you know, I've only got one pair of balls." I'm sure he put it in relevantly, but I heard him shouting, "You're always fucking moaning and whining." Until he said that, it never dawned on me that obviously I've always been fully cognizant, unlike most people, that behaviour in almost 100% of people is inherited. These prompts seem irresistible. You know, a dog licks its arse. Because it's inherited that behaviour. It wasn't a conscious fucking decision. Sitting down one day, "I wonder what I should get up to now. I think that arsehole's smelling quite cheesy. I arsehole's smelling quite attractive. I think I'll get a lick. You know, how come they've all got the exact same behaviour? That's instinct, innit? Think it through, you fucking retard. So behaviour's inherited, and so it's no coincidence her daughter was a whiny cunt too. Fucking whiny cunt. She was butt naked one day, wandering around, and I was fully clothed. She wandered around butt naked, like a 4-year-old child whining. You ever seen a wee whiny fucking child wandering around butt naked? Just, that's fuck off, hen. Even though she was butt naked, I should have been over the fucking moon. It's a lassie who's totally relaxed with me that she can walk about butt naked and be herself. But herself was a miserable cunt. That's what the doctor ordered. You know, I didn't want to be with a miserable cunt. I don't want to be with a miserable cunt. I'll come back to that when I'm talking about females. Later. I think he's a misogynist that wants to hit females. No, you're just somebody who likes to falsely accuse men, real men, strong men, who don't take any shite of infantile assholes. So,